Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are comparing values, and one reason one thing we need to slow down to think about is, what does that word compare mean? So far, it means greater than, less than, or equal to. There's a couple of other symbols out there we're going to be learning this year, and you'll be learning about next year, and really through Algebra 2. But the main ones, there's 5 main ones. Then you have some others that are just fun to use. But the 5 main ones are we're going to be learning about this year. But the 3 we know about so far are just greater than or less than or equal to. So really what this is saying is, tell me if 1 is greater than, less than, or equal to the absolute value of -4. Now we could say all that, or we could just say compare these 2 numbers. And if it gets more than 2, it would be put these in order. Think of it that way as well. So, one thing to remember is we always write numbers in the same format that we saw them, and that's going to be important for our answer. But first, we want to put them all in the same format to begin with. So let me clarify what I mean by format. Format just means it's the same form. There are 3 forms of a number. There's decimals, there's percents, and there's fractions. Right now, none of these, well, all of them could be written as fractions, we don't need to. All of them could be written as percents, we don't need to. They are technically decimal form. Remember, if it doesn't have a decimal, that means its decimal is 0.0. So technically we are writing these in decimal form. The problem is they're not in simplest form. See, we can actually find the absolute value of -4. So what we do here is select the right coloring there so it's color coordinated. So 1 matches up with 1. That's pretty simple. We don't have to do anything there. 1 is 1 is 1 is 1 is 1. No change. However, the absolute value of 4 is saying start at 0 and how far away is -4? Well, it's a distance of 4 away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to find it on my number line and say, boom, it's right there. So I'm actually comparing 1 and 4 when it says to compare 1 and the absolute value of -4. This is what we call an equivalency, okay? So by comparing 1 and 4, it's the same thing as comparing 1 and the absolute value of 4. We'll get more, we'll be talking a lot about equivalencies this year, because that's how we actually think algebraically. What is the same thing, different value, or same value, different format, so I can substitute in. In this case, 4 has the same value as absolute value of 4. So we can substitute it for the absolute value of -4. And now by comparing 1 and 4, it's the same thing as comparing 1 and the absolute value of -4. So since 1 is to the left of 4, and 1 is also the first number listed here in our original question, we now have our comparison. But always write all numbers in the same format before comparing also means to rewrite your answer using the original format. In other words, we only turned absolute value of -4 into 4 for ease in comparison. However, what we want to do is we want to be able to say 1 is less than, and here we're going to put that absolute value of -4. Because remember, 4 and absolute value of -4 are equivalent. That means they have the same value, which means we can write them either way. And the original question said to compare it with absolute value of -4, so our answer needs to show that we did do that by using the absolute value of -4 in our answer. And this would be our final answer. 1 is less than the absolute value of negative 4.